I can never get enough of it. I think that's gonna be the theme song forever, like forever. Yo, what's up, everybody? It is Bruno versus Ineos in an explosive interview. Is there no longer a pathway for academy players at Manchester United? Has the pressure of last season's results and this season's results made Ruben Amorim so risk averse that even when bench players can't get a sniff, there's no hope for youngsters? Are former players like Scholes and Ferdinand right? Do young players need to leave United to have a career? Can we never just have a quiet day as United fans? These are the questions we're going to explore tonight. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the Kickabout. This is, of course, the weekly show where Dylan, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Living the dream, man. We were just
Ox, what's
talking
up, man?
before we went live, dude. Sinuses are killing us. It is like
Mhm.
unusually warm and sunny today, so all the snow's melting. But what that means is sinuses kicking. This is sinus season for Midwesterners. But
Yep.
so Dylan and I are both feeling it today. But if you guys, this is your first time, this is a Kickabout. We do this show once a week. Dylan and I basically we just have a bit of a freestyle, laid back, chill chat about just the latest Man United related topics, kind of like last week tonight with John Oliver, kind of like that kind of a situation. But yeah, tonight it's Ruben Amorim, Kobbie Mainoo, Paul Scholes, Bruno. We're talking about all of it. I want your thoughts. I want your opinions on all of it today. If there's time, we're also going to chat a little bit about AFCON and how maybe United should plan for that, navigate that, prepare for that, whether it's starting 11s, signings, youth promotions, whatever you guys, we might be talking about that if we have some time at the end. We're going to keep an eye on the clock because I anticipate some of this discussion getting a little lengthy. So,
Oh yeah.
um, how you been, Dylan? You pumped for this trip? Dylan and I are leaving in a week, you guys.
Like I said the other day in the chat, 6 to 12, guys, 6 to 12. Excited already. So.
6 to midnight. Yeah, this time next week we will be on a plane. We
hmm
will be hopefully sleeping, honestly, because we're flying overnight. We'll be on a plane flying over. Where's the layover? Is it in Atlanta or is it Amsterdam?
Amsterdam on the way there, Atlanta on the way back.
Nice. Yes. Amsterdam, their airline, is it KLM?
Yep.
Yeah, KLM's got these amazing cookies on the plane. There's these oatmeal cookies. They're fire. I'm happy about it. But yeah, this time next week, we're going to be on the way to Manchester. Obviously, we're going to a couple matches. We'll be checking in with you guys along the way. Don't worry, you can't get rid of us that easily. I'll have content for you guys as well, so you don't miss out on anything. I've got scout reports, another episode of What If, so keep an eye out for that. Big up the women's team. They beat Juventus tonight 1-0 in their Champions League match. So goal from Jess Park, who is
That
out of
was
this
huge.
world, by the way. She's an absolute dynamite player, so happy about that. Under 18s played, I forget who they play. They beat them 6-0, though, as well. But let me get involved in the chat, man. Guys, make sure you like and please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Remember, starting 11 and Legends members, you guys get access to that WhatsApp group as well. It's not just emojis and badges. You guys get access to a lot of stuff. Legends members, if there are any Legends members watching, I did post the link to join in if you want. You guys know perks of Legends membership is you get to join in the Kickabout show every week if you so choose. There's no pressure, but use the perks while you have them, right? Why not? So,
Mhm.
who's in the chat? Box, big up, Box. Hope you're doing well. Yo, Sean. Yo, Dylan. He's making sure everybody
Well,
gets a yo.
what up? What up?
Big up, Rob Taft's in the house. Yes, please hit that like button and subscribe. We are on the road to 3K. I know it's a bit of a big ask now, but if we do manage to get there in a week, a couple hundred left to go. Anything you want in that giveaway, whoever wins that giveaway, literally anything you want from the Megastore, I'll get it for you. I promise. So, but it's all on you guys. That's a big ass. That's a couple hundred, man. Jarvis in the house. Big up, Jarvis. Hope you're doing well, bud. Hope. How was your?
What's up?
Did you do your charity match, Jarvis? Let us know. Justin's in the house. Of course he is.
What's up, Justin?
Big up, Justin. I hope you're doing well, man. Justin's just hustling and grinding, man. It's a busy time of the year for him. So
Mhm.
Rob says night flights are the best. Dude, night flights are the best. Unless you are not anyone besides me and Justin on the plane, because Justin and I are just watching Boondocks episodes and laughing our asses off in the middle of red eye flights while everyone else around us is trying to sleep. Justin and I are acting like a couple of freaking obnoxious American pricks. I don't know if you watch Boondocks, but it's ridiculous. Bach says we don't want any free Manny shirts. I mean, that you blew it for everybody, Bach. That was going to be the surprise that I was going to get. I was going to go find Kobbie Mainoo's brother. Maybe he's in a trailer waiting for the next season of Love Island, and then I was going to say, "Yo, let me get one of them shirts, man. Let me cop me a shirt." We're going to talk about that a little bit tonight as well. We talked about it a little bit later, but thank you guys for getting involved in the chat. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. Dylan, where should we kick off our conversation when we talk about stuff, man?
I think we gotta start with Bruno, man. We gotta
Gotta
start with
start with
Bruno.
Bruno.
He's the
All right.
captain.
He is captain. It is the most recent, so why don't we just tackle that first, and then we'll jump into that Kobbie Mainoo stuff. Because the Kobbie Mainoo stuff, yes, it was last week. We did, obviously, you and I have been really grinding. We had a lot of work to do to get through this week and prep for the trip because we're responsible adults. I finished my class yesterday. You're working on yours still as well, so we're doing that. So no pick about last week, but yeah, the Kobbie Mainoo stuff I think is it's a little bit more overarching than just Kobbie Mainoo. Like it's like there's more to it, and that's why I think it's a little bigger, something worth talking about. But yeah, Bruno, I mean, it's ridiculous. We spent all this time talking about youngsters, and then we talked about Amorim's comments ahead of Bournemouth. The Bournemouth result, you and I were watching that shit result, shit performance. But then like literally immediately, almost after that result, we get quotes from this crazy interview that Bruno Fernandes held with a Portuguese media outlet. I think so. Canal 11 released it, but the interview was with this outlet called Saltinho's Pelo Mundo, which I didn't bother translating because I just don't have that time. But I guess this interview that we're going to talk about was filmed prior to the match. It was filmed last month, so I've told you guys 100 times on this channel. Journalists, media outlets will have these stories, they'll have these quotes, they'll have these reports, and they will sit on them. They will lock them up until the opportune moment. And this was the opportune moment. We had a shit result. Bruno was noticeably not happy. Let's drop this interview details. So I was waiting. Obviously, I brought it up the other day. I was waiting till more details emerged because I don't like just going after things out of context, right? Because once you put things back into context that aren't cherry picked, it has a little bit more flow to it. But that's what we're doing today. So Dylan wants to start with that. We're going to start with that. Rob says always a busy news week. It's funny because it is and it isn't, right? Like there's not really transfer stuff or anything. It's just drama. Justin says we need to watch Boondocks. It's funny. Composed View is back in the house. Big up, Composed View. It's been a minute. Says let Kobbie play in the academy for the rest of the season. Heyo, big shout. We're gonna get to Kobbie. Don't worry. We got to start with the captain. Though. I'm gonna put this on the screen so you guys can catch up to where we are. Sorry, Dylan. Your face is gonna get covered here because Jarvis wrote me a doctoral thesis of a chat here. His charity match was great fun. Lost on pens, but raised a handsome sum of money for the local retirement. That's awesome, man. Big up Jarvis, dude. Like, well done, man, doing the charity
Nice
match,
job,
dude.
man.
You get one of these. Absolute legend, man. Good on you, man. Appreciate you doing that kind of stuff. What did Bruno have to say? Dylan, do you have any thoughts before we jump into these quotes on Bruno? Because it's going to be a minute here.
No, I'm ready to go.
All right, we're gonna.
Let's get going.
I got a couple slides here from the quotes from this interview. We're gonna go through each one, kind of stop and give some thoughts on this, and then we'll do a little bit of a recap at the end of it. So let's dive in. So, this is what we had to go with. The most important thing is that my club values me, but lately I've felt like I'm walking a tightrope. In England, when a player approaches 30, people start thinking about rebuilding. Players are treated like furniture. That's some big talk coming from our captain. How you feel about that? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Where do you think he's coming from?
I think it's just frustration from the summer where a lot of it was him, a lot of people saying he's going to get sold. It's time to move him on. And he does love the club. You can see that he wants to do well. Um, and that hurts whenever somebody talks about moving you on or talks behind, like, it feels like with the fans talking behind your back because he can't control what's on social media or anything like that. That's going to hurt. And I think a lot of what came from this interview was a lot more of him just venting his frustrations and his things that bothered him from that. So I don't know if he was really going for, like, let's just
Hmm.
attack people. I think he was just trying to be honest, and it not necessarily like you talked about. It was the word, not a good time for that to come out. So
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the interview was held last month. Of course, it's
mhm.
released immediately after this.
Yeah.
Um, do you feel like players are treated like what do you think he meant by that? They were treated like furniture, like just when you get bored with them, when they get old, we just look to move them on and like toss them aside
Hmm.
and get the next new thing. Go to IKEA, see what's new.
Yeah, I think he felt like that because he's put so much into the club, and then they're like, well, just get rid of him. It's like
Yeah,
I get a little bit when he talks later about some of the loyalty stuff, but you know, at the same time, it's there are other aspects to the club that things have to change, and that's always,
yeah,
there's pluses and minuses to everything. I sympathize with him for the hurt. I get that. That is a lot, but
yeah. It's
okay,
hard
hide
to.
that. Wait till you're done playing, dude.
It comes, yeah. There does come a time for every player's career, right? They do hit that 30. You know, we saw it with Rio, we saw it with Vidic, Rooney, De Gea, even all these. We start to move people on,
Mhm.
and you can't. And I've said it even in the summer, when there was the whole, do we keep him, do we sell him? I was fine with either one. Like I think Bruno is proving it again this season. There's things that Bruno can do that nobody else can do. There's like he's above pretty much most everybody in the league right now for assists and whatnot and chance creation again. So there's things that he. But at the same time, I would also be like, well, yeah, if we got $100, 100 million for him, yeah, cool, take it. Like because you can't. We're in a rebuild, and I do agree that having people like Bruno as like an in between the start of a rebuild and like the next step, I do think that helps. But I would also be very frustrated if I found out that he could have meant we'd gotten a midfielder or something in the summer. Again, we don't know what the plan was, but
Mhm.
he said, I felt that Manchester United were ready to open the exit door for me, but they lacked the courage to make that decision. The issue of loyalty isn't viewed the same way it used to be. I could have left last summer, earned much more money, but I stayed because I genuinely love this club. Um, yeah, so he's kind of saying United were kind of pushing him out the door a little bit, but it was like they wanted to say it, but maybe we're not didn't have the spine to actually just come out and
Mhm.
say it because I do think that could have probably led to even more negative optics, negative PR, which
Oh yeah.
was already at its zenith over the summer. I like using that word zenith. I used the word nadir the other day, and I was like, I was very proud of myself. Um, um, but yeah, I mean, we knew that he was gonna get offered like I think it was minimally like 500,000 a week, right? And he
Mhm.
stayed and earning like a little more than half of that. So it's not like he's staying for the money, staying because he loves the club. Probably has a little bit more to do as well with Premier League is much more has much more status, right, than the Saudi league. I mean, we can all agree on that. So some players do value that as well. Because we need three new skins regardless. None of our current skins. I agree. I've been saying that for a while, man. We need
Mhm.
a whole midfield rebuild. We did a defensive one. We did an attacking one. Now we've got to get a a midfield one for sure. I totally
Mhm.
agree. So this is what else. There's like six slides, you guys. So we're gonna go
Oh
through.
yeah.
It says from the club side, I felt a bit like if you leave, it's not so bad for us. It hurts me because I'm a player who always gives everything. I'm always available. I always play, good or bad. I give my all. Then you see things around you, players who don't value the club as much and don't defend the club as much. That makes you sad. This is where it starts to like. It's like there's a little shade getting tossed around. What do you think
Oh
he
yeah.
that?
Oh, he's going after Ineos there, saying like, well, if you leave, it's fine. I mean, on the business side, on the trying to rebuild side, yeah, that's every player. There's no player that's untouchable.
Yeah,
Like if you get Mbappe's had different, like, people come after him, like things
yeah.
like
Well,
that before.
Madrid fans are weird, dude.
Yeah, like
Remember when they were
there's no.
standing on Gareth Bale's car? Like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, yeah. It's like you're good. it just is weird to me. I know you don't want to leave. Like it's the club you love. That part I get. Like
Mm.
you give everything when he says in there, I'm always available. I always play, try my hardest, stuff like that. And then there are other players that don't, like that, calling out the team a little bit too, saying there's other guys in here that aren't putting forth the effort. So
Yeah, that's what I was
hey,
curious about. I'm like, what's
yeah,
that's the strays because like, obviously he's kind of
yeah.
throwing shade at Ineos, like you're saying. He's definitely throwing shade at his teammates. Maybe do you think he's just talking about
Mm-hmm.
players in general, or do you think there's somebody in the club, specifically a teammate, that he's throwing? Like, if you had to guess right
There's
now, who would it be that you think he's talking about?
there's on the current squad, I couldn't tell. Past squad, I definitely say he's taking a dig at Rashford.
Mm, Garnacho,
Current
maybe.
squad, yeah, Garnacho, Rashford. Current squad, maybe some of the younger guys that are still like maybe getting a little big for maybe Kobbie.
Uh,
I don't know.
uh, uh,
Could be. I don't
uh.
know.
I
There's not.
mean,
I don't have enough context.
Bruno to me, like he does sound a little bit like an older fan, right? Like a fan of a certain
Yeah.
generation right now, talking about modern players, talking about player power,
Mm-hmm.
talking about entitlement, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is the vibe I'm getting right now. He definitely is giving me like grandpa vibes right now. Like in my day, we didn't do this, you know. We played in pitches covered in broken glass, and we had to kick it uphill. The pitch was on the top of a mountain, kind of a thing. We
He's
had to
on
walk
fire.
uphill. Yes, we played in a volcano, kid. You don't know how good you have it now.
We put the
How's it-
fires out. Damn
right? Yeah,
it.
we the volcano erupted while we played, and I still got a hat trick. That's what we had to deal with.
Yes.
Honestly, I've played on some rough pitches when I've done like mission trips in like Honduras and Haiti and stuff. These
Mm-hmm.
pitches are rough. I'm talking rocks, glass. The goals are made out of like pipe, like metal,
Mm-hmm.
like sewer piping. It was insane, but still fun. Dirt. Everyone's playing like in sandals and bare feet and stuff. It was awesome, but at the same time, you're like, shit. All right. Um, Composer says Bruno is saying obvious things. Those who pay attention know. Well,
Oh
let us
yeah.
know what you think he means. Let us know. Rob Taft says a lot of fans wanted that 100 million in the summer. I know a lot of fans did. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
half of it. I think we could have used it. I think it's difficult to replicate what Bruno can do. And then there's the factor, I think, of how would we spent it? Because like Bach says, if we had gone after that big target in Baleba, I think that would have been a waste, in my
Yep.
opinion, with the
Yep.
way he's playing, with just the dip in form. I mean, he's continually like I think since the start of the season, he's whenever he's played, he's been like the first player subbed off, and literally like 50 minutes into the match, he's getting subbed off. His teammates aren't passing him the ball at times because there's something going on, and I don't need that kind of toxicity in my club. I'm trying to get away from that shit. I don't know about you, Dylan, but I'm done with that.
Oh yeah. We don't need that.
I
We
don't
need
want
to
any drama.
get away from that.
Save the drama for your mama. I'm done.
That's right.
Um, Compose View says Ineos has the ambition without the willpower. Could have sold Bruno, however. Well, they did try. And that's what Bruno's saying. They tried. Amorim. It sounds like Amorim wanted to hold on to him. Bruno didn't want to leave. You can't just force it to happen. And then it hurts us financially and negotiation wise if we
Mm-hmm.
sit there and try to force the issue like that. We've got to try to do it amicably, or it just doesn't work out for anybody.
Yep.
So find a creative CM to replace him. There are a lot of good center midfielder out there. There's a ton of midfielders out there. There's no shortage of midfield. That's why I'm not keen on spending 100 million because you don't need to. There's literally you can get 3 for that price. There's
Mm-hmm.
no need for it. And it will be a slow build. Proper rebuilds are slow. You're never going to fix all the problems
Yep.
in 1 or 2 years. It's just we have a lot of dead wood. I do think Ineos are working hard. Obviously, this is the lowest our wage bill has been in like half a decade. And that has a lot to do with clearing out a lot of that deadwood, being a little ruthless. And I think that we're building a lot for the future. We've been signing a lot of young, promising players with like Leon and Heaven and Shesko, even if you want to throw him Euro. So even Lamens is young for a goalkeeper. It's just, and then parts on the pitch, it's just, there's only so much you can do in one summer. It is what it is. But Danny's just popping in for a few minutes. Well, make sure you like while you're popped in, man. Big up.
Indeed.
Good to see you, pal. So, moving on. Sorry, got distracted there. He said, I could have done what many people do say I want to leave, refuse to train, ask for a lower fee so I could earn more on the other side. But I never did that. I never felt I was in a position to do so because I believe the empathy and the affection between myself and the club were mutual. But there comes a point when, for them being the club, money is more important than anything else. So again, throwing some crazy shade at Ineos right now, which I don't. First of all, I gotta
See,
stop right here. Like, how did Ineos approve this? Like, How is this? How does your club captain have this interview? This is messed up, man.
yeah, I'm assuming they didn't know about it, but
That's not a good look though for Bruno. If
no.
I'm gonna have that energy for Rashford and whatnot, I have to have that same energy for Bruno. I don't.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think this is not a good look for him.
This,
This is captain. It's not okay.
yeah. Well, it's just not. It's not the logical nor smart thing to say. Like they want 100 million. You're not going to look at 100. You're not. It's not like you're Pele or anybody like that. Like, dude, any Ronaldo was sold for 89 million. You think if they would have offered 100, they're not going to look at that? Like, come
Yeah,
on now.
I mean,
It's like,
I get all sides of it, right? Like Ineos, they probably don't see a whole lot of. I mean, you. This is probably that was probably the most valuable Bruno is ever going to be at that point in time, right? We're not going to get
mhm,
that much for him. We'll get not super like much lower, but we're not going to get that much for him now. So
no.
I can see where they're coming from. That's a lot of money. That's double. You're
Hmm.
like getting double what you paid for him almost. Um, but at the same time, I also see maybe why Amorim wanted to keep him. I think again he's doing very very well, even from a deeper role. But to come out and say this in an interview, the club like money is more important than anything else. That's that's some pretty bold statement there from our captain.
Yeah. Yeah.
He says, in my mind, the club wanted me to go. I told the directors that, but I think they didn't have the courage to make that decision, partly because the manager wanted me to stay. If I had said I wanted to leave, they would have let me go. So Ineos clearly had the intention of selling him. They wanted that money. They wanted to put that towards rebuild or whatever. Amorim wanted him to stay. Bruno wanted to stay. And again, at the end of the day, this is what I think some fans aren't quite getting. This isn't FIFA. This is an FC 26. It's not as simple as add to transfer list and then the offers come rolling in and then the player doesn't like that's it is what it is. Like the player has this is why people are like, why don't we just go activate a buyback clause? That's not how it works. The player, if Alvaro doesn't want to come back to Manchester United,
Hmm.
doesn't matter if we activate that buyback clause. He like the player gets a say. This isn't like marriage back
Hmm.
in like the 12th century or something, and you just give away your daughter and like no one has a say in anything. That's not how it works. Um, like it's weird, but um, yeah, Rob makes a good point. I mean, again, going back to what Bruno said earlier, like this is how you get into these things. You got to tie it back to what he said. Like, is he aiming? Is he? Is this one of those things that he's aiming at other players? Is it something that he's just commenting on just
Yeah.
modern players in general?
Oh,
Where are you at with this?
other thing you got to think of is that an Isak dig.
Oh yeah,
You want
Isaac.
to, just throwing Liverpool some shade.
Yeah, I mean, Liverpool got their pants down, pulled down to the tune of like 200 and some odd million this
Hmm.
summer between Verts and Isaac. I think Dallo has more league goals than both of them combined.
Yep. Oh,
That
it's
if that were,
glorious.
I would just retire if I was Verts at that point. I would if I was looked if I could look oh, like, oh the dude's got like 2 goals and an assist. I don't have a shot. I'm out. I'm done.
Hmm.
Um, Rob says Fergie would have booted him out of the club. Yikes!
Oh yeah.
For going after the owners, you think? Because he's actually given Amorim some props here because the manager wanted him to
Oh
stay.
yeah.
Buck said
Yeah.
Fergie wouldn't have
Yeah.
allowed him to. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hopefully Bruno's like defending Amarin and the dressing room too. If there's any negatives, like if that's how true that is.
Yeah, and Dallo's like, "Hey guys, this is my cousin. What are you doing?" Like,
Yeah. The hell.
he's
We're going to the Christmas party. Like,
um. So Bach says Fergie wouldn't have allowed him to be sold. Rob says he would have sold him already. It's interesting. Box agrees that maybe he's talking about Isaac. Yeah. So some of you think maybe he's talking about United players. Some of you think maybe he's talking about just players in general. Maybe it's a little both because, I mean, it's something that we've said many times on this channel that like modern players refusing to train or like there's a word before footballer that people seem to forget, and that's professional footballer. Like there's
Mhm.
aspects to being a professional anything, and behavior on and off the clock is a big part of that. You represent this club wherever you are, whether you're training, whether you're out in the town, whatever. If you're out there like inhaling balloons or doing whatever these idiot stick kids are, if you want to drive drunk and crash your car and flee the scene like Jack Grealish, that you represent Man City at that point. Like whatever. That's probably a
Forgot
positive
about
strike
that.
for Man City comparatively speaking, but fucking assholes. What did you send me earlier from Skybet? I don't know anything about betting, so what are you talking about?
Oh, it was just they were trolling. Some United fans posted like a Sky Bet thing that said Man City are 18-1 to be relegated,
Mm.
and so it was just like, oh, are the charges going to go through eventually? And
Yeah, interesting. Some insider betting going on here. Somebody's in the know
that
here.
was my thought. I was like,
Yeah,
hey,
it's
what
a
do
good
we
way to
know?
keep an eye on stuff. Like watch the betting odds and see what's going on. That's funny. We got what we got in here, Dylan. Where we at right now with our watches and our likes right now? I'm gonna do a refresh here. See what I'm working with.
No idea.
Um, Hold on. We got 9 likes in here, you guys. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe if you guys are new. We're talking all things Bruno at the moment, and then we're going to pivot over to Scholes, Ferdinand, Amorim, Kobbie Mainoo, and whatnot as well. But I'm interested to hear what everybody thinks about this Bruno interview. Because I do agree with someone said earlier, like, should he be punished for this interview, do you think? Should there be some sort of repercussions for this? Do you think there will be?
No, I don't think there will be any
No.
repercussions. Because I mean, if anything, it's directed at the board, so it's not necessarily at the first team.
Yeah.
So besides some of the shady comments about other players not trading, like Amarin says that every interview, he says something about that. So like, yeah, I don't think anything's going to come about it.
What can Ineos even really do though, in is terms of like repercussions with this? What like literally all they can, you'd think the only thing they'd be able to do is fine him, right? But then they've got to fine a lot of
Mm.
players. Like, did they fine Rashford? No, they just let Amorim bench him. But Amorim didn't really like Rashford. But Amorim was the one who kept Bruno here. So Amorim, would you think Amorim will hold the same standard that he did for Rashford or Garnacho and punish Bruno?
No, I think it. To me, it's different. To me, Bruno's comments are Rashford, Garnacho were directly talking about Amarin.
Mm.
And Bruno's comments don't seem the same way. So if anything comes of it, they might like if they get an offer, they might actually take it over the winner. But,
Yeah, like so Rashford's
I don't know.
interview is like, I want to leave, basically. Bruno is basically saying, I wanted to
Yeah,
stay. Ineos wanted me to leave.
yeah,
The manager wanted me to stay.
exactly.
Other players don't behave as professionally, basically. I give my all. I've been
Yeah,
like, I'm treated like
yep.
furniture, basically. He says, I wanted to stay at
Mhm.
Manchester United as long as I feel desired. I've always said I want to stay somewhere until I feel that I am no longer wanted. The moment I feel 100% that I am no longer wanted, I'll speak to the club and say that I want to leave. I would like to experience the Spanish league and fight for big titles in Italy. I don't think there's enough time left for that. He says, if one day I have to play in the Saudi Arabia, I will play there. My lifestyle would change. My children would have sunshine after 6 years of cold and rain in Manchester. And I'd be playing in a growing league in well. Okay, that to me just sounds like somebody who's on his way to the Saudi league, honestly. Like,
Yeah, a little bit.
just that last part, like I'd be playing in a growing league with well-known players. That to me sounds like Saudi propaganda,
Yep.
honestly. Because when I
Please,
think Saudi
please,
league, I don't think growing league.
no. Please let me come here, please.
Yeah, right. Nice
Steps
stuff.
up.
Hopefully you're doing well. Yeah, that to me is that screams of a guy who's on his way to Saudi league. I don't know, like that's messed up, dude. Oh boy.
Yeah, that part was weird.
Yeah, I don't know if so. I mean, he's talking about maybe playing in Spain. I don't know if any Spanish clubs can do that. I don't think Real Madrid can pay for him. I definitely don't think Barcelona can afford it. Those are the only 2 clubs I see him going to. And if he were to go to anywhere in Spain, I think he would suit Atletico Madrid's the way they play. I think he would suit Real Madrid more. But again, he's not going to go to Atletico Madrid. It's not going to happen. So it's what a weird interview, man. So again, like I said, this was
Mhm.
filmed a while back, like November, according to Ben Jacobs. I'm pretty sure it was filmed in Manchester. I almost feel like looking at some of the photographs and stuff. I almost feel like this was filmed at Carrington. I could be wrong though, but again, the timing is weird, dude. According to Ben Jacobs, it was set up by the Portuguese national team as well, so that's a little weird. I don't know what that is having to do with anything, but um, yeah, it's a weird interview. Like overall? What are your thoughts and takeaways from this? Like, do you think it's not a big deal? Do you feel like what are your thoughts, man?
I don't think it'll be as big of a deal for the first team. Um, I think just in general, it's an unwanted distraction. He's definitely, to me, this seems like a guy who is frustrated that he was possibly being shopped around despite all he's done for the team. And so now he's kind of lashing out a little bit. And not the time for that to happen. It's just like, I get it. You're frustrated, and you have every right to be frustrated for what you put out there. But come on, guys, don't lose the plot. Don't don't ruin what you got going.
Yeah,
And if I remember right, we were starting to get everything going. So like, come on, man.
yeah, I was trying to think what was going on in November when this happened and when he was maybe feeling like some of this. Like I
So,
can't.
so was it right before the? Let me look here. I'm just trying to see what match it would have been.
I mean, the only thing I can imagine is maybe Ineos or somebody or Barada or somebody said something as we're getting close to January, maybe trying to like, if we're looking really hard at
So
going big in January, maybe somebody said
right,
something to him. I don't
yeah.
know.
So if it's coming off the international break, it's right before the Everton match. It's right after the Spurs match. So Spurs we drew, Everton we lost.
Yeah,
So and we really we weren't in the greatest. We were two draws and a loss. So it's not like and
gotcha.
the wheels were coming off again. So everybody was kind of like frustrated.
So I'm sure
Wheels
Bruno
coming off.
was frustrated as well. I'm sure that
Yeah. So,
there's catching strays
yeah.
from fans and whatnot online and
Yeah.
things. So we know that Bruno definitely has no chill. He wears his heart on his sleeve no matter what
Hmm.
happens. I mean, if he were to make a typo while he was writing a text message, he'd probably throw his phone at the wall and freak out. Just is what it
I
is.
would not be shocked.
He's got a bit of that Roy Keane to him. Now, I think Bruno is a little whinier than Keane. Keane was just angry, but I think they're both cut from the same cloth. They're just different sides of that same cloth, I think.
Hmm.
But so yeah, I mean, it's just yeah, the timing is weird of when it was released, not when it was done. But when and even then though, like he was feeling this and thinking these things back in November, which he probably has been feeling like this since the summer. So maybe going into that Arsenal match and stuff when he was shit, maybe he was still just had a lot of this stuff rolling around internally. Maybe his just wasn't 100%
Hmm.
focused, and maybe that did play a role in this um, as well. I mean, I can imagine like that. It's hard to get over some of that stuff, especially if it's not just like, oh, the club wanted me to leave. It's just like, again, treated like furniture when you're turned 30 and stuff. That to me sounds like something somebody told him. Like not like, hey, you're 30, it's
Hmm.
time to go, but like something along the lines of, hey, we're trying to rebuild this, with a younger squad and stuff. Resale value. I mean, most clubs don't start giving like when they've got players who in their 30s, they don't really extend contracts a whole lot. They don't like for a while we were just doing 1 year contracts. Chelsea were doing like 1 year contracts at a time for these guys. Um, it's really weird.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, like you said, like even like with Kobbie's situation, I can see where he's coming from, Bruno. Right? Obviously, the situations are different, but I think the frustration is understandable. But again, like the Kobbie stuff, like Rashford stuff, like Ronaldo, even like Amorim with what he said the other day, or some of the other shit Amorim said, like. You can say it, you can think it, you can feel it, you can talk about it behind closed doors. Don't say it in an interview. Like, don't say it in
Hmm.
an interview, man. Um,
Hmm.
he does get props for throwing shade at Ineos, though, right? I
I
mean,
mean, yeah.
we all like
Keep
to,
it away from the first team.
yeah. I mean, we all like throwing shade at our bosses a little bit.
Yeah.
again, I don't understand how the club allowed this to happen. I wonder what the club feels like. I've read reports that they're not happy, but I mean, they're just reports. I think they're from like Chris Wheeler or some shit. This was the same guy who's like, Kobbie wants 200 grand a week. Like, no, I don't buy it, Chris Wheeler. Um, but I think at the end of the day, the situation behind the scenes to me definitely seems like it's a little bit more tense. The dressing room situation seems like a bit more tense than maybe we thought it might be. But if it wasn't, it is now. That's for fucking hell.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Oh boy, let me see what you guys say in here.
And just in time for the Villa match.
Yeah, I know, right? Don't forget we got that preview for that coming up soon this week too. We're wrapping up here. We got a couple more days to go, and then you and I are out of here, dude. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, Bach says Rashford's interview was starting his wishes to leave. You talking about Bruno's wishes or Rashford's wishes? Yeah, Rashford
Yeah.
basically said I want to leave. Well, and I think Ronaldo kind of kicked off that whole trend of like, oh, we want to leave, we'll just give an interview. Who cares?
Yep.
Salah did it. Can this be interpreted as Bruno's Ronaldo moment?
Kind of maybe we'll look back on it one day.
I mean, I didn't see Pierce Morgan in the background wiping his chin or anything, so I don't know what's going on. But I swear, every time Ronaldo walks into the same room as Pierce Morgan literally just drops to his knees and pulls his hair behind his head. That guy is such a
Mm-hmm.
little dick rider, dude, and so done with Pierce Morgan. I don't care if you watch this, Pierce. Fuck off, dude. Oh, I'm getting freaking canceled. Anyway. Adrian says, Zell Zirkse, bring back Hoyland and cue the anger in the chat. No, we appreciate you, Adrian. I didn't have a problem with Hoyland. I just think I think the mentality just wasn't quite where
Yep.
it needed to be for, and he's young.
Yep.
It is what it is. But again, you have the misfortune of joining the biggest club in England, definitely one of the biggest clubs in the world. And unfortunately, when you are the only striker, it's just
Mm-hmm.
we can't wait that long. Fox says
Yep.
Wenger used to treat players like furniture. Maybe he treated them like winter coats and just couldn't get them on. I don't know. Speaking of couldn't get his coat on, did you see Casemiro just completely just forget how clothes work when he got
Yep.
subbed?
Because you called it out when we were at the bar. I'm like, what the hell is he doing?
Who puts a coat on like that? The only way he could have been worse is if he tried to put his legs through the sleeves like pants. What are you doing, dude? You're gonna have coats in Brazil and just never get that cold? Like, what the hell? Have you seen it? He's like, what is this?
Oh,
What do you call it? A coat? A coat?
Coat.
I don't know what this is. I'm sorry.
Coate.
I'm gonna 2-foot tackle it though because it's trying to
There
smother
you
me.
go.
Thought it was an octopus or something. Man, fucking hell. Yes, we are on the road to 3K. I would appreciate if you guys take a moment and like if you haven't yet. Subscribe if you are new. Remember, if there are any legends watching, I did go in the community post. There is a legends member only visible post for the link to this if you want to join in and share your thoughts on some of this. But yes, if we do somehow manage to get to 3K before Christmas, we will do a giveaway, and the winner will get whatever they want from the mega store at the club when Dylan and I are there next week. We will be leaving this time next week. Dylan and I will be on a flight, stopping off in Amsterdam, and then on the way to Manchester. So we'll be checking in with you guys along the way, though, as well. But
Mm-hmm.
yes, please, we're so close to 3K, you guys. We're so close. So in any case,
Sean's gonna send videos like, "Well, I lost Dylan, so I don't.
yeah.
I'll be going to Manchester."
A mob of people, a mob of tourists thought he was Christian Eriksen, and he just got carried off.
Yeah.
Like he got crowd surfed down the road. Sorry, Dylan. Sorry, buddy. Just send me that flight information so I can get home. Adrian says Ugarte and Kobbie need to go. It sounds like some people are not happy with the Kobbie situation. There are people who don't rate Kobbie. I thought Kobbie did well in his cameo the other day. Personally, I thought he was just peak Kobbie in my opinion. But obviously, it's kind of like Tom Cruise. You have to maybe separate who he is in his movies versus who he is in real life sometimes. So maybe with Kobbie, we got to separate some of the attitude stuff that we've been seeing and the way he's been playing, because the way he played on Monday I thought it was just fine personally.
I thought it was a bit rusty.
I mean, he's rusty, yeah, I think, but in terms of just the link up play and kind of the 1-2s moving forward, the press resistance, he's got a really good ability, Kobbie, of holding onto the ball and inviting that press, and then always just at the last second finding a teammate and moving. He does what I wish Ahmad would do, Cunha would do, just pass and move and get into space. Like
He
go ahead.
he grew into the game for me,
Yeah.
and just like the link, like you're saying, the link up did well. Um, and I thought the dribbling and some of the decision making improved. So if he can get a run here with some of the Afcon stuff going, maybe he'll turn a corner. I don't know.
Well, his brother didn't help him any.
No.
Especially with Casemiro getting suspended for this next match. This
Mhm.
was the time, and now it's just like, dude, what are you doing? Come on, man. You're killing me, Smalls. In any case, as far as we'll wrap up on Bruno here, it does kind of feel like this could be Bruno's final season at the club, I'd imagine.
Mhm.
Maybe I'll put that in a poll here. Hold up. Let me get up here on the other screen, you guys. Make sure you guys are liking. Make sure you subscribe. What's that poll at right now? Hold on. Yes. Make sure you are like, so most of you are doing that. I'll do another one here. Is this
I also
Bruno?
like to vote in the polls, everybody.
All right. You guys can let me know what you think based on just what we're trying to do, maybe based on this interview. Try not to base it on your hate of Bruno, just based on what you think about, like in the context of the conversation. Let us know what you think. Let's see. Bach says Mainoo is a good prospect, but a lot of our fans are like Piers Morgan with him. I do think a lot of our fans they do go a little OTT sometimes with some of the academy. I do think Mainoo is very good. I do think that debut season with Ten Hag was very, very good for him. His injuries kind of caught up to him. He's still very young, and he's got a lot of developing to do if he wants to hang in this kind of system right now. But I do
Yep.
think that he's a very good young player. But yeah, let me know if you think this could be Bruno's final season at the club. Where is he going to go next if this is his final season? Do you think it's just Saudi and collecting the bag for a couple years? PSG, I think, have been rumored. Bayern, I think, were interested in the past, like legitimately interested. They could be
Mhm.
losing Goretzka. Kimmich is a little older. Um, like what's his face? Musiala is sometimes injured.
Yeah.
Where do you think Bruno could go next year?
Byron would work pretty well for him. He'd have some people to look for to link up with the play.
Yeah,
He
I think.
definitely and he'd get a league title there. If Harry Kane can win one, Bruno can. So
Harry Kane didn't get one his first season at Bayern, which I have to say
that
is
was
probably one of the most
that
hilarious
was
things I've ever
hilarious.
seen in my life.
He was trophyless that season too. It was hilarious. So we're like, oh my
Yeah,
god, he jinxed Bayern.
yeah, he's just allergic to trophies, man. I felt like, but yeah, Bayern have a track record. They bought an older Harry Kane and stuff, so there's something there. I can see Bruno linking up with Kane and like finding Elise
Mhm.
on these runs a lot. I think that could be a good
Yep.
little mix. Adrian says keep Bruno. He is Man United to an extent. I agree. I do think that he's probably been our best player since he signed. He's been one of the best midfielders in
Yep.
football since we signed. He's world class. I don't care what you say. Rio has and a couple other past United players have said, yeah, he's the only current player that I think that could hang in our like peak time, our peak era in like the '90s or in the aughts or whatnot. He has that about him. There's things that Bruno can do that nobody else can do. So, and clearly the numbers look like show you. I mean, he's man of the match, goals and assists in his last several matches. Has
Mhm.
consistently been creating the most chances in a match. The guy's a beast, dude. Niche fan's
Mhm.
back in the house. Welcome back, Niche fan.
What
What do
up?
you got to say? I'm gonna scratch my armpit like a monkey here. What the hell? Sometimes these jerseys they're itchy, right? Like the material, like because I'm not wearing like anything under it, like so it's just itchy sometimes, dude. That was you guys didn't need to know that. It's all right. Dylan, you and I are gonna be spending a lot of time together next week. It's gonna get awkward. You're gonna get to know me. It is what it is. I've been told I've been told that because I like to sing, I've been told that sometimes I sing, but I don't realize that I'm doing it. So if that happens, just give me a smack upside the head. Because my wife pointed out one day, and I was like, no, I'm not. She's like, you're singing. I didn't even know it. I literally didn't even know it. So could be a tumor, but who knows? I do not know. Anyway, Niche fan says you can't make public statements like this. Fergie should have banned Mainoo and Bruno when their entire families Old Trafford. Ineos and Amorim are weak if they step 1 foot back in the. You guys, this is some rough. some rough. There's some high standards here. Bach says Fergie
Mm-hmm.
welcomed Rooney back after he held the club over a barrel, and he brought Ronaldo back. Ronaldo wanted to go to Madrid. Madrid president made some public comments, and Fergie said, we can't sell you right now. We can't reward that kind of public shit from Madrid. So you have to stay another year, basically." Um, Fox says Fergie welcome Rooney back after he held the club. Yeah, we talked a little bit about that Rooney stuff in one episode of What If. I can't remember what season that was. Remember, the season 4 premiere released last week, so you guys can go watch that if you guys want to get caught up. I've got the next episode coming up soon. Spoiler alert, it has to do with Mourinho and player power, so keep a lookout for that one. Buck says Fergie back Cantona after a 9-month ban and a kung fu kick. Spoiler alert for another episode of season 4. So, what if you guys are the peak? Somebody's hacked my Google Drives too, I swear. Buck says Fergie welcome Rio back after Rio threatened to leave because he wanted more money. Interesting. Buck says a lot of revisionism. There's revisionism from fans. Trust me, football fans are some of the most revisionist people in the world, man. We are fickle, we are emotional, we are reactionary, we are knee jerk. That just is what it is. So you think Bayern could be a good fit? To me, this feels a little bit like Saudi, like that one line,
Oh yeah.
like Saudi propaganda, personally. But it's some interesting stuff here. I'm going to take this guy off the screen for a hot second so I can work on some stuff behind the scenes. You guys liking? You guys subscribing yet? It's important to me. I would love to get the 3K. Show some love before we leave, guys. I'd like to take some of that love with me to Manchester. Try to make this next bit as big as I can. So now we're going to pivot. Dylan, do you have any final thoughts on the Bruno situation?
Nah, just the worst possible time to have this happen. We need to be together, especially with people going to AFCON, Casemiro being out. We got a Villa on a tear. We need everybody together. So
Yeah, I think that unity right now is something that is in low supply at this club, and like, yeah, I fully agree. Like, this is like, especially like you're saying with AFCON, we've got the FA Cup coming up. There's already a lot of negative PR. It needs to be like the channel of the title of the channel. Like, it's us versus them. It's a fortress. It's not just the fortress mentality. Is not just everyone needs to be scared coming here. It needs to be like, no, we protect ourselves from everybody else. It's us and them. It's United versus everybody. We can't afford to be fractured in the dressing room,
yep.
on the board, all that shit. And it's ridiculous. Niche fan says all those things happen behind closed doors. Bruno and then Mainoo t-shirt thing were completely, yeah. The t-shirt thing was absolute shit show. I'm not sure what this kid's brother was thinking. That only hurts Mainoo, in my opinion. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that. Niche fan says Cantona was abused by a supporter and just saw red. Yes, he shouldn't have done it. But it's not the same as slagging the club off. No, it's not the same as slagging the club off. It's assault, so it's definitely not the same as slagging the club off. What Cantona did was literally against
It's
the
a bit
law.
different.
You're right. I fully agree. It is different. Can't be doing that shit. That's not okay. As a fan, I'm here for it, but as a human being, I'm like, bro, you can't just kick people. That's not okay. Oh man, there's nothing behind closed doors at United. I'll say that.
Mm-mm.
All right, let's pivot here. Talk a little bit about Kobbie, Amorim, Scholes, youth in general, because obviously last week because Paul Scholes and Nicky Butt have a podcast now, the good, the bad, and the football. If you haven't seen anything that Paul Scholes has done since he decided to become a pundit and speak more, he's a bit of a grump, to put it lightly. I can't think of a happy, positive thing that he's had to say at all. So we'll just call it that. He's got a bit of an MO. He's got a bit of a trend going on here. Rob says brothers in football should be banned, and then we wouldn't have Fabio and Raphael, man. But yes, I agree. Some of these players and their brothers just need to shut the hell up, dude. So we'll talk about Scholesy because he made some pretty big comments last week. Don't know if you saw this from his thing. Basically just came out and said, I don't think the manager gets the club, full stop. I just don't think he's the right man. Manchester United is about risk and entertainment more than anything. I just don't think he gets it. Dylan, hit me.
Part of my comment was just like, Scholesy, damn it, shut the fuck up. Like,
Right?
dude, we don't need this right now. We don't need everybody and their brother to just be like, oh, come on, this club sucks. We don't. We need to do things a different way. I'm like, things got to change. Had we kept doing this things the same way back in the '80s before Fergie got there, we'd be nowhere. Like, shit's got to change, and yes, it's not the way traditionally things have been done. But I don't know if he watched that Bournemouth match. As frustrating and painful as that result was, it was very entertaining.
A lot of things are entertaining. It doesn't mean that they're good.
Yeah, and that whole game was about risk and entertainment. I don't know what he's been watching.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. Some part of me feels like sometimes Amorim listens a little too much because basically everything that's come up in the last couple weeks, every complaint, everything, Amorim
Mhm.
basically did what people wanted to do, which it's weird. Like it's one thing to like want it, but then it's another thing to feel like he's just acquiescing to everybody's demands. And I feel like
Mhm.
I'm like, it still rubs me the wrong way for some reason. Maybe maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe it's just a coincidence that Amram decided to do that. Maybe with AFCON coming up, maybe we wanted to change some things around. I don't know, man. But what is it? So, what do you think that it means when for a manager to get the club at United? What does that mean?
I think there's a lot of bias here,
Mm,
just because Scholesy's used to the way Fergie managed, um, and I don't think he sees the same style from Amorim. And so I think he the way Fergie did it for Scholesy, and I think for a lot of us growing up too, that's the way we should be doing it. That's the way you should manage, and it's hard when change happens because players are different now. You can't manage the same way you did 20 years ago. You have to. There's more nuance with it. There's how you communicate with players, how tactics are set up. Um, there. And I think Scholesy still. I just get the feeling that he's still on that kind of mindset, and I think that's more where this comes from than anything else.
yeah, I mean, I think, and it's weird mood. I've got thoughts on some of the X players because there are some people, there are fans who think that the X players, because we know, like, it came out a couple months ago, like the players hear this, it does impact them, this kind of stuff. When
Mm-hmm.
X players say this, there are fans who think that the X players, Skulls included, do this because they know that it does get in their heads, and for some reason, these fans think that guys like Skulls are trying to preserve their own legacy by basically pressuring the current squad and the current manager into underperforming or to making mistakes. I don't know where you stand on that. It's a theory. An opinion that I've seen a lot of people put out there. Um, it's I don't necessarily agree with it, but
Yeah, yeah.
so when
I
he
can
says,
see it. I just it
yeah,
doesn't make
yeah,
sense to me.
it's a bit of a reach. So when he says, I don't think this manager gets the club. What do you? So for what does it look like for a Manchester United manager to get the club? What would that look like for if you said, "Oh, this manager gets the club"? What would that look like to you? How would you be able to tell?
Well, the club has always stood for youth. The club has always stood for the fans. Yeah, you're right. There is entertainment in football and things like that, but the youth and the fans come first.
Yeah.
And so I think we have gotten under the Glazer ownership gotten away from both of those. And so it's painful right now with the changes going on. I've seen, at least just from me paying attention over the last couple of years, I've seen more focus on the youth setup that we will not see the perks for another few years yet
Yeah.
than I have in the last 15, 20 since the Blazers took over. I think the fans have made their voices heard, and that's part of the reason. Ineos still aren't
Yeah.
great, but we have some forethought in this. So I think that United's trending in the right direction. For a manager, I, I I don't know enough about Amorim right now. I haven't looked at. I don't watch all his press conferences because for some reason they have to have one on that work or something. I don't know. It's like 5 hour time difference or
Yeah.
something. um, but I think he's trying to do something that goes against what people are used to, and so
Yeah.
it's going to be challenging, and we're going to find out here if it's going to work or not. I I don't quite know yet. Is really what
Yeah,
I'm
I
saying.
don't think anybody can know yet. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's too. It's not like David Moyes, for instance, where it had nothing to do with necessarily David Moyes' tactics. You could just the guy was in over his head from day one. like, like there are
Hmm.
infamous tales of him like going into Ferguson's office at the training ground and sitting in the chair while no one is around, just to like get like some little kid who had won a contest or something. Like, dude,
Hmm.
like, come on, let's wrap. Come on, lock it in, bro. Lock it up here. Box thinks the ex players are about to touch. They only know United under Fergie, so they've
Yep.
seen him without Fergie when they've tried. Man, I almost feel like sometimes, and I feel this way about like guys on ESPN or Sirius or whatever. Even to an extent, I feel like it was some of the guys like Scholes at times. Like, I don't feel like they actually follow the current game. Like, I don't feel like sometimes I do feel like their like idea of like tactics is like just have a go at him or
But
something, or like just like I don't feel like there's a whole lot there in
yeah,
terms of keeping up to it. And you don't have to necessarily, but I like I said before on the channel, like it's like politics. I don't know shit about politics. I don't follow boxing or basketball. So I stay the fuck out of conversations about politics and basketball and boxing. Like I don't know anything about that. What were you saying? Go ahead.
no, I think you're right. I mean, we see that with in America, we see that with announcers for the NFL and things like that. You get the older announcers that are talking about they should do this. It's like, well,
Yeah.
that you would have done that 20 years ago. It's the same sort of thing. I know later in the quote he's going to say they need to play 4-4-2. I'm like, the only guy playing 4-4-2 is Sean Deitch.
Technically, we did it for about 45 minches on Monday,
Yeah,
but again, I think that's where these guys, these
more
also these,
regularly is what I meant. But
well, that's what these pundits don't quite
yeah,
get because Scholesy, we'll talk about in a second. He complained about a back three, and he's falling into the trap that I think a lot of people are, where they're focused so much on formation and starting position. Like we shift to a 4-4-2
hmm,
throughout a match. We switched to a 4-2-4, a 3-2-5, a 3-1-6 at times. Formation and system are not the same, and like that's what I mean when I say like I don't feel like they follow it. They don't really like look at that kind of stuff. Hold on, I got to address this. Niche fan, I appreciate you being here, but I have to call out, man, because well, okay, what's worse, someone abusing you and you flying kicking them or flagging the club off in public? Um, Flying kicking somebody is worse. Physical assault is worse than someone like there are bigger things in football. And you ask if it was fair that it shouldn't mean he loses his job. Well, when you break the law, you will lose your job. And he didn't lose his job. He was banned and he had to serve. He was meant to even go to get jail time, and the club convinced the courts to let him do community service. So he had like hundreds of hours coaching like youth at United. That was his community service, as we'll find out in a future episode of What If. But yeah, so yes, if you physically attack somebody, you will get in trouble for that. It's just the way it works in life. I don't make the laws. It's just the way it works. And yes, that is way worse than slagging off the owners of a football club, because there are things that are bigger than football. Just saying. That's just the way I feel. You don't have to agree with me. I don't even have to necessarily agree with it, but if you talk about your boss and kick somebody in public, the general law of the world will tell you that kicking someone is worse. It just is what it is. You're not going to go to jail for slagging off your boss. You will go to jail for kicking a stranger in public. It's just the way it is. Um, Sorry, just saw that. I wanted to address it. What we got here? So, so Scholesy also went on to say, young homegrown talent needs to leave United. He said he even mentioned too, like if Chelsea came in for Kobbie, he should go. So I'm not sure, like he's using it as an example, but I'm like, if Kobbie can't get in ahead of a 30 some odd year old Casemiro and a 31-year-old Bruno, he's not getting in ahead of Enzo Fernandez and Moises
no,
Caicedo at Chelsea. Like that's not going to happen.
no.
So this is what I mean. Like, just why do you open your mouth sometimes, guys? I just think it's I don't know, man. Like, do you think Kobbie needs to leave?
That's a hard one. I the distraction, maybe if that continues, if they can get that, like say, hey, dude, like if they can work that out. No, I think he can. I think there's a place as he gets older. He's only 20 years old, 21 years old, like whatever it is. Um, this is a different system than he came into, so he's still trying to he's still growing into his body and still trying to get to that point where he hasn't had a lot of opportunity to, um, you know, learn on the pitch and show what he can do. So there's a lot of room to grow for him. Um, and if we're going to be fluid with how we set up the attack, there's a spot for him. It's not the defensive part, but somewhere in the attack for certain link up play and things like that, I think he could work great as the almost the false nine in the front three there. But it's if they don't fix that, if they can't get the disconnect there, like with his brother with that shirt, they can't get a tamp that down. Then we can't have that.
Yeah.
It's gonna disrupt everything else. It's gonna set a bad example for the younger players. We have a very good amount of younger players coming through. JJ Gabriel, Bianchieri, Shea Lacey. I mean, that's the complete wrong example.
Yeah, I've seen some people too, and this is where again it starts to get into an overarching thing where like there are people who also will look at some of these youngsters, especially not even just at United, but over the years, and the word entitlement comes up, and I don't think
Mm-hmm.
that I if that were the case, I can easily see why comments like this from Scholes and whatnots could maybe make that a little worse, could almost like contribute
Yeah.
to that sense of entitlement. Listening
Yep.
to more to guys like this. I mean, this. You remember when Scholes posted this
Mm-hmm.
after I think it was what the Amorim game or the Everton game, I think, and talking about Kobbie. Amorim said, "I consider him a starter just like the other players." And Scholes basically just said it right here. He just said, "Bullshit. The kid is being ruined and not being played in a team that can't control the game of football. I hate seeing homegrown players leave, but it's probably the best for him now. Enough is enough." I mean, media have also been kind of waving this flag since week 2 of the season, like
Mm-hmm.
Kobbie not getting a start and stuff. I mean, is Scholesy taking an isolated situation with one player, and is he kind of overgeneralizing a bit with this comment? I mean, is this he's talking one player in Kobbie, and Scholes seems to think that no academy player can get any
Yeah.
time at United. Like, I don't,
Uh,
I just don't get it.
I think so. Because Cobbie's there. That's the biggest reason. Like he's there at the club. Harry's at Sheffield, and doing well.
No, he's
But then I
struggling.
looked at the.
He's struggling,
I
Dylan.
know. I know. I looked back later. Apparently, the comment was meant like Sheffield struggling, but
Yeah, I mean, but again,
yeah,
why even mention it?
exactly.
I don't. I did that whole video the other day. You guys can go watch that. It's on the homepage of the
Yeah,
channel. Like I had problems with that pre-match presser from Amram. I thought that was bang out of order, but
yeah, that
it's
wasn't
so
good.
weird. Big up Tiger Claus.
But
Welcome to the channel.
hey, hey,
Says he's a bench player at another club is fine and it's worth the public display of dissent. I actually don't care about youth players. Bring me professionals in their prime. Well, that's you must you must be a Jose Mourinho follower then, because we care about youth on the channel. We care about youth at
mhm.
Manchester United. We're built on youth.
Oh,
But
I was going
but
to say something with that.
go ahead.
I if Scholes is calling us out like we're ruining these other players. The youth that we had there, like I mentioned this earlier, they're not. It's going to take a couple years to really get them embedded into the system.
Yeah,
That's true. He will be talking all night.
challenge accepted.
All
You forget
right,
we're going to
John.
be there next
All
week.
right, we know what we're doing. We're going to
I'll
follow
find
him
out.
to his.
I'll find out what he drinks, man. Whether he's a wine
Yeah,
guy, whether he's like a
yeah,
Corona guy, whatever they drink in Portugal, I don't know, but we're gonna
there
find
you
out.
go. But
All right, go ahead.
if we look at the news and we look at the players that they're talking about in terms of the youth, they are not the 21-year-olds that we would be pulling up to the first team to play. They're 16, 15, 18 years old. Okay, they're still young, they're still growing.
Yeah,
You don't want to send them out there and get hurt. Okay, like that especially in today's game, it's a little bit different than when they were playing. Okay, where it's a little more tactical.
well, and here's the
And
thing
so
too. So, I don't want to interrupt, but like I think,
You're
and
good.
we'll talk a little bit about this in that what if episode, but I think people like Scholesy, for instance, obviously he is the example of youth at United, pretty much, right? But I think that, and as we're talking about Cantona as well, because it all is connected. Had Eric Cantona not kung fu kicked that Palace fan and banned for 9 months, there is a very, 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 very realistic chance that we would have seen the class of '92, but I don't think we would have seen them as soon because without Cantona there there was a bit of a pressure to have to do something. Like
Mhm.
Ferguson wouldn't have had a lot of that pressure. Without injuries to like Rooney and Van Persie, would Rashford have gotten his start as early as he could and whatnot? I'm not saying that I don't like these players. I'm not saying that they're not good enough. Whatever. I'm just saying like there's context to a lot of these situations, and the situation could have easily went one way or the other had any little other thing been different. And I think that something to keep in mind as well. Like Giggsy was already getting involved in the first team. Scholesy was obviously in with a shout, and I think that had Cantona not been banned, there would have been a little things would have been a little different. But that's an episode of What If for the future. So, um, but what about the? I'm gonna take this off the screen now. Sorry, guys. I know you guys love seeing Scholesy rage at somebody. Sorry, I just want to get myself set up. What about the other side of the coin when it comes to the whole Kobbie Mainoo situation and like Kobbie Mainoo himself and his whole body language and demeanor and all this stuff? I mean, like Amorim has used Kobbie, but like he started him in like 9 or 10 matches last season when he got here. Kobbie got injured because Kobbie gets injured a lot. He's given him he get 40 minutes, more than 40 minutes on Monday, and it just literally he comes on. He, in my opinion, he looked very good. Looks like he could play a role in that deep because I do value players who can hold on to the ball more than players who just want to make tackles personally. So, and with Casemiro being suspended, it looks like Kobbie could very easily get a start against Aston Villa. But then his bro goes and does this nonsense like an absolute ass clown. like,
I mean, that's a smug picture,
like
just the face he's got right there.
Like,
So
what are you doing, man? Seriously, what are you doing? You guys still want a T-shirt? Like I'm sure Kobbie's frustrated, right? I get it, but this hurts him more than anybody, right?
I mean that brings a lot of pressure on him now. It's like, okay, you got to keep performing, and there's a lot of chatter now, so your focus isn't going to be on it. So yeah, I can't see as this being a positive for him, especially when he's just trying to get going in the team. So
Yeah. And if anything, I feel like this pushes some of his defenders over to the other side of the line, and now they're like, dude, like whether you knew about this or not, this only reflects poorly on you.
mhm.
like, this looks like it was either at halftime or it was prior to kickoff because you could see the stewards out there. There's training cones out there and whatnot, and so obviously we don't know at this point that Casemiro is going to get suspended. But at the same time, it's like, dude, not good.
Yep.
Rob says with the Christmas party being restored this year, I feel like Bruno and Mainoo going to get a ban from it, like Keane once was. I mean, who knows, man? This you never know what to expect at this fucking club these days, dude. This club's shit is topsy turvy, man. It's a circus. It is an absolute circus. I just I couldn't tell you, man. It's like trying to do a match preview. I could flip a coin on how we're gonna play or what the result's gonna be these days. You just never freaking know. But this if like Kobbie needs to apologize for this. Like he needs to take responsibility for this. Like this just is what it is. If one of my therapists acts like an idiot with somebody, it reflects on me as the business owner, and I'm the one who's got to take responsibility for it. It's just the way things go. If a child acts like an idiot at a little sleepover, and the parents are called, the parents got to be like, all right, I'm sorry. Like the parent didn't do anything, but it's their responsibility. So he's got to come out and apologize for this. Bruno needs to freaking talk like fix up because that shit's annoying. Let's see, what does Niche Fan have to say now? Let me see what you got for me, Niche Fan. You can see I'm being respectful and engaging with your topic, even if it's taking us off track here. He says, I completely agree that physical violence is completely unacceptable. However, the club didn't deem Cantona's action severe enough to sack him. The supporter ran down 11 rows. Oh, I know the supporter ran down 11 rows. I know the supporter reportedly said a lot of different things. And the club did support back Cantona. They fought for him. They got his sentence reduced to a 9-month ban. You can only go so far when it comes to the literal law of wherever you happen to live. Like a football club is not more powerful than the UK government. It's just the way it is. So I hear you. I mean, it is what it is. But like, just because he's a footballer doesn't mean he's exempt from the law. It's just how it works. Unless you gamble or kill somebody while driving drunk over the speed limit in Spain, apparently. Um, Sorry, that shit still pisses me off, by the way. But whatever it is. Do you know about that?
Is this Grealish?
No, this is Marcus Alonso.
Oh no, I don't know that.
Yeah, he's driving, exceeding the speed limit while intoxicated and killed somebody with his car. But he's playing football, so it is what it is. I can't handle it sometimes, man. It is what it is, but yeah, if I go off on a tangent, it's gonna get bad. So yeah, Kobbie Scholes mentioned entertaining football. Again, Sir Matt Busby's always said the job was to entertain. But even like Sir Alex had us more defensive at times, even for a spell, because he needed us, especially early on. Manager, and even look at like guys like Oliver Glasner and whatnot. When they come in, especially when the club is in a bit of a transition phase, you start with the foundations. You start by being difficult to beat. You start with the back. It does get boring. It does get defensive. Rebuilds start with creating stability. That starts with the defense, right?
I think we missed that part.
Yeah, I think leaking like a sieve right now. Honestly, we're not giving away a lot of chances. We're just conceding with the chances that we're giving away. It's super annoying. But and like on the stability, like Sir Jim has spoken about it, Amorim has spoken about it with youth. Like the environment at the club, the atmosphere is not conducive for managers for the last decade, for youth right now. Talk to any like YDP professional, like youth development phase professional, any academy, that the environment has got to be stable. Anybody who works in like player care and whatnot, the environment's got to be stable. You can't put like it. You're a teacher. What happens when these kids have an unstable home life for a sustained period of time? How does that reflect on their grades, their attitude,
Oh
their
yeah.
emotions, their mindset, like their sleep, their physical health? Like you got to have stability. Kids need stability. That's just the way it
Mm-hmm.
is. And that's way more important than any coach, any tactical guidance or anything. That any gym time. It's going to be way more important than that. So you definitely don't want to put too much of a heavy workload on the kids too early. I've seen people say, well, if you don't play them, they're going to stunt. You play them too early, you put them in an unsafe, like unstable environment, it's going to stunt them as well. Like you can't, there's a balance in there. Fox says, bro must have been cold just wearing a t-shirt. Was it that cold the other night? Oh, shit. I'm not looking forward to that. And I don't think it's going to be too bad. It can't be any worse than it was here the last couple weeks. We weren't even into like 20 degrees the last couple weeks, man. It's been nuts here in Michigan. But so yeah, sorry, I went on a little soapbox there about youth and whatnot. Not everyone's going to agree, but it just is what it is. You all right?
Yeah, I just had to scratch something. So.
So you had that look like your cat was like gnawing on your foot, but you didn't want to be unprofessional and like freak out. You look like you were just bearing it.
There. Now I don't know where she's at. So
That's not always a good thing.
I've heard some knocking, if some banging. So she's into something.
Cats, man. There's like cats they've got like full body like Tourette's, man. Just they're calm,
Oh
calm,
yeah.
calm, and then like out of nowhere they just come flying at you like a tornado of teeth and
Oh
nails.
yeah.
It's freaking cats, dude. And they come flying out of places that you didn't even know that they could fit in, like underneath shit. You're like, what in the hell?
Where the hell did you come from? Yeah.
Cat is like a
Right.
little demon, man. Let's talk about Amorim and youth. Let's get this asshole off the screen. Fuck that guy. Because I think people
Yeah,
are.
right there, dude. Jeez.
Oh, I meant to put this up there too while we were talking about this.
Yeah.
Sorry. Scholes has a little bit of a history of complaining about managers when it comes to, like, this has been Scholes with pretty much every manager: Mourinho, Louis Van Gaal, Ragnick, Ten Hag. Scholesy, this is basically Scholesy's MO when it comes to the way United have played basically for the last decade. Don't know if you guys have seen any of these.
Mm-hmm.
I did some digging, so there's that. But Amorim's use of youth basically is something I want to talk about, because there's a lot of people who aren't aren't quite clear on like how Amorim views the youth. A lot of people look at just what he's done this season, which is a small sample size, and they'll say he's anti-youth. He's like doesn't want to play the kids. Nobody's gonna have a future here. But like if you look back at Sporting, more than 24 youth players got their debuts under Ruben Amorim, and a lot of these guys were 16, 17 years old as well. Um, and all the people who, if you're looking at that and you're like, well, that's Sporting, it's a Portuguese league, like that. If United is a tougher league, if the Premier League is a tougher league, then shouldn't the standards for that be higher when it comes to promoting youth as well? Then, like, that's where people. Oh, I told you she's gonna get you, man.
I just heard something fall.
Yeah, when cats do that, we call that like plotting and scheming. That's what they do.
Oh yeah.
Amorim, his use of this, I'm gonna fuck that up every single time I try to say it. His use of youth last year, so our average squad age is actually not far off the youngest in the league. I think the youngest is Arsenal, like 23. Ours is like 25, or so it's not go that far off. Like I said, he started Kobbie in loads of matches ahead of Casemiro, ahead of Ugarte oftentimes. Kobbie missed a lot of matches through injuries as well. I think people forget that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Amorim started Amos and Fredrickson against Wolves last season. Both of them had a good game despite the loss. Cheeto got minutes. Aiden Heaven was heavily used, and then he got injured as well. Most of our signings are young. Aiden Heaven, Dorgu, Yoro, Shesko, even Lamens, like I said, young. I think a 15-match sample size this season is just, compared to all of last season, is just not, it's not really a comparison at all. I mean, I said this earlier on another channel, like the goal is getting back to Europe right now. And like, with that in mind, is Lacey getting in ahead of Ahmad? Is Cheeto going to get ahead in over Shesko? Is Diego Leon going to get in over Dorgu or Dallo or something? Now, it's going to sound like I'm bashing these young players. I'm not. I'm putting out the honest questions, because I think when people stop and think about that, the answers sometimes are a little harder to accept. I'd argue that against Everton, for instance, or like Wolves when we were up, maybe it would have been nice to see a couple different rolls of the dice. But so with all that little tangent, well, what are your thoughts on like Amorim's use of youth? I got it right that time. Kobbie and whatnot. What are your thoughts on all that?
I agree with the part, especially that we really haven't been in a position to play the youth because especially last year we were chasing games. We're trying to establish stability, and we're working with first team stability, and so we're kind of getting that worked out. But um, once that gets worked out, I think we'll see more of the youth kind of come in there. But we've really only had, like you said, maybe Everton to chase the game, to throw somebody on that maybe might spark some, and then Wolves. I would love to have Lacey come on and just see, go out there and just try something. Just let's give you your debut, have some fun, and learn a little bit out in the first team. But we haven't been in positions like that for years to really kind of do that. So
I did criticize Amorim after Everton when he fired back at the journalists, saying what attacking options do I have? And I remember we did the post match reaction. I said you had Mainoo and you had Lacey that they could have made. So I have criticized him in those kind of instances as well. But again, we're not in Carabao Cup. A lot of that does have to do with trusting the youth. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to do it, but again, I said it also after the Bournemouth match. Some of those goals we conceded were because of the young, inexperienced players. Just not that they're bad; they're just inexperienced. This is if people have to be prepared to have those kind of mistakes on a regular basis with young players. That just comes with the territory. So it's all well and good, but you can't also rage then when the young players make mistakes. It is what it is. Now, Amorim has a role. Coach is also a verb, so you've got to develop these players and stuff. He's not his job to develop the academy players. That's the academy's job. So once they make it to the first team, then it's his job to work on that. But again, like I think that's where people are kind of blurring the lines a little bit. These are Mainoo's injuries last year, by the way, too. So for anyone wanting, so obviously he got that big injury in 23-24, but last season he missed 17 matches and more than like 80 days of football. So he got back right before Amram really got in. But then from February to April, so literally 2 months,
Yep.
he was gone again for 10 games. And so that's what I mean. Like he
And
missed.
that
Go ahead.
that was a big stretch for us too. That February through April stretch. So
Yeah, that was a heavy, heavy workload. That was in Europa
yeah.
and all that stuff. So Kobbie missed pretty much half of the season. If you look at the number of game missed, just from injuries. And so he's young. He's picking up injuries. It's a factor. I'm not saying that he's up there with like Shaw, Mount, Martial, whatever. He's injury prone. Or Phil Jones, but he's missed a lot of football he's only been playing first team football for like 2 years now, if that. So, and he's already missed almost like 40 games from injury. And so it's a factor for people to consider. I think that people really need to keep that in mind. Sometimes I think it's something people tend to overlook. So, oh boy. I feel like, sorry, you guys remember Rio had something to say on this as well. I'm going to put Rio's quotes on here too. Rio said, "If I think about it and put myself in Kobbie Mainoo's shoes, I'm out of there. I've got to. He has just wasted 18 months of his career now at Manchester United. He might be saying, I love United too much to go. I want to stay and fight. But it is going to be 2 years in the summer. You can't lose 2 years in your career. It's a short career. You have to make decisions." Has he wasted 18 months? I mean, he's scored winners. He's scored big goals for us, and he's won trophies for us. I mean, he's developed. He's gotten like a world-class development training and whatnot. Is he wasting his career?
I wouldn't say that. I think part of it is, yeah, he's kind of not in the perfect situation. Like he a little bit better. He was better with the system that Ten Hag had him, but that could happen wherever you go. Like so, it's better to it's almost better for Mainoo to tactically learn how to set him up, get his mind right, um, pick everything out that he's going to need to learn as he gets older. I mean, yeah, I think a lot of these ex players are trying to live vicariously through the youth now because they miss that.
Mm,
Just like we all do as we get older and we can't necessarily do as much as we used to.
tell me about
Um, so I mean, I get it. Real, you're trying to defend him, but like, dude, just like Scholesy, shut up. Like,
it. Yeah, I think sometimes
yeah.
Rio can be a bit over the top sometimes. I think it's part of it is just Rio's personality. Personally, I think he's still to me he still seems like he's got that kind of that fire of like a youthful personality. He gets hyped about,
Mhm.
like, he gets excited about a lot of things, which is fine. But I'm like, some of the comments are just in the extreme. Rob says, I think Fredrickson made his first team debut under Amram. Yeah, he's back
Yep.
in the squad
Yeah,
against
Fredrickson's
Bournemouth.
good. I'm glad to see him back. He was when he was on there. You could see he was kind of doing the Euro thing last year and the heaven thing. He was making mistakes and he was learning. And I'd like to get him back in the fold.
Yeah,
That would be great.
He and Amos were very, very good against Wolves last
Hmm.
season. Now, Fredrickson was at fault for one of the goals we conceded against Grimsby that saw us obviously get knocked out of the Carabao Cups. And again, to say that it's his fault is not me saying he's shit. He should never play again. Bin him off. It's just I call it like I see it. It was his fault. It is what it is. Um, Tiger
But
Claw
that's
says,
again where you got to go in and say you made this mistake. It's a learning experience and
yeah,
understand like that's what happens.
yeah,
And I think we all get lost in that sometimes.
yeah. I think young people these days, and that makes me feel old, can sometimes just not handle criticism. I'm not saying Fredrickson can't handle certain criticism. I'm saying that maybe modern players of a certain age, just because they read things, because they've got people around them that tell them things,
Hmm.
there's just no ability to receive criticism, receive correction, receive feedback. The ego gets hurt too much. There's an inability, I think, in a modern generation of humanity to have that kind of conversation because of social media now. And I think that now, because of player power, it's like, well, the coach benched me for this match. I didn't start, so I'm gonna go post a photo in an Aston Villa Rashford shirt or some nonsense. Like shit like that needs to stop. Tiger Claw says Kobbie's also had injury issues from playing too much the first season. Yeah, and that goes back to what I said a little bit ago. Like you can definitely overload young players
Mm-hmm.
early. Like look at Rooney. Rooney was done physically by the time he was like 30 because he had been playing at that level since he was like 16 years old. Rashford
Yep.
is getting up there too. I don't think Rashford's going to be able to hang at the top for more than a couple more years because his game is built on pace and power and speed, and he's been doing it since he was a kid. That's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
miles to put on your legs. Um, Rob says Kobbie's still 20, has plenty of time. That's what I've said about him when it comes
Oh
to the
yeah,
World Cup too. Like
yeah.
he's got plenty of World Cups ahead of
I
him.
and that's the thing I can't figure out. Like, oh, I got to make the World Cup. I'm like, dude, you got at least two more that
Yeah.
you'll definitely make.
How about make this weekend's fixture? How about we focus on the club that pays your wages and
Yeah.
is giving you a career rather than just going to England for England duty? I mean, come on. What are we doing, man? Seriously. What is like this? Maybe I'm thinking like guys like Shaw and Kobbie. Maybe the reason they've pushed so hard for it is because maybe they think that right now was England's like best shot, and they don't want to miss out on it or something. I don't know.
I would assume that's what they're going for.
How about earn it by playing and working hard at United? Then, man, fucking hell, fucking. This is why I can't have kids, man. Because the shit that I say, I'd literally be saying to my kids, man. I'd be like, just don't be a fucking idiot, man. All right, we're taking Rio off the screen for a second. So yeah, Scholesy does not think Amorim is the right guy. But what about what this guy had to say about Amorim? I think there are signs of the manager turning it around. There's still a long way to go. I think we've got a good manager, and he's changing things slowly. Why are
that that's the way I felt about it. Like it's because I will waffle. I'll admit I'll be like, oh god, that was a shit performance. We look terrible. And then they have another one. I was like, well, maybe the signs are there. And you know, it's the emotions of the sport. But
well, both things can be true.
yeah,
You can
yeah,
look at a performance, you can look at a match and say that was shit, but you can also look at the same match and say, yeah, I do see signs of this, that, and the other
hmm
thing. Like all of it can be true. And I think that's where just people in general can kind of miss the mark. I think people are too
but
either or, black or white, all or nothing sometimes.
no. But here's the difference for Bex. Or for him, he's involved in running a team like that too.
Yeah.
He has a different perspective about all that
Yeah.
than Scalzi, than
Timu
Rio.
Barcelona over there at Miami, man.
Exact Team Barcelona. You know that's going to be a different understanding than the pundits are going to have. So
Ah, some shit, man. Everyone's wanking off over Messi getting MLS Player of the Year for a second year in a row. I'm like, it's fucking Leo Messi. What did we expect was going to happen? Like, let's be honest. I don't know. This it doesn't do. I don't think it does the MLS any favors, honestly. just like,
money.
just like the Carabao Cup today of like the pundits were sitting here talking about, oh, well, they can rest these players and stuff, and I'm like that. You can't then turn around and complain that the domestic cups don't get as much notoriety. Like when you're sitting here and praising managers for basically just playing their youth. Jurgen Klopp didn't even
Mhm.
fucking show up to a Carabao Cup match at one point. Like, and then these English pundits want to complain why people don't take the cup seriously because you sat there and glazed yourself over Jurgen Klopp for years and like went right past the fact that he couldn't be bothered to show up. He didn't even make a lot of his first team players show up, and the people are like, come on, like, you can't have it
He's
both ways.
glorious. We love him.
Fucking Klopp, dude. Saw some rumors that he could be going to Real Madrid if Xabi Alonso doesn't fucking figure it out, huh?
Yeah, he's done. I don't think he would go back and manage.
He's probably the only available manager at the moment who could go and do that. If I'm being honest,
Yeah.
just just the way he plays and just his personality, I think he could. He'd be one of those. Like I hate Jurgen Klopp, but there's not many options right now. I don't know. I was talking to Justin about this on the phone yesterday. Like I don't know what Real Madrid were thinking bringing Javi Alonso because that is not a club that's like a Palace or an Arsenal or Liverpool or United even where they can kind of they're known for like these rebuilds and these tactical kind of changes and these shifts and these young tactical managers. Like that's not the club for that. That club is
Mm-hmm.
we're signing the best players, we're getting a huge name manager, we're just going to play the players the best way that we can play them. That's what I said, Box. I said, yeah, they need to just bring Zidane back for the next half of the season. He'd probably get in the league. He'd probably win them the league for real.
Mm-hmm.
Rob says it's Shaw's last chance. He's not going to make it. Well, that's his fault then. It is what it is. I don't really care personally, but I'm not English, obviously. I'm sorry for everyone who is, but but you guys know I don't
Not
even really
really
get all
sorry.
that hype over the U.S. men's national team either. So it is what it is. Still
Sean
watch.
is secretly a Canadian fan, guys.
There it
He's
is,
really
John.
cheering
That's
hard
why I
for
wanted
Canada.
Jonathan David so badly in the summer. um, so yeah, it's just interesting. So many people jumping all over what Rio and Scholes said, but like Beckham said almost the exact opposite when it comes to Ruben Amorim. Nobody wants to seem to agree with Beckham on this kind of stuff. So
But
it's
that didn't cause us the news to, or like didn't make any waves, so who
yeah,
all
it's
cares?
yeah, it is. And again, this is how agendas work. You filter out anything, any conflicting information that doesn't go along with your opinion. You filter it out and you grab hold of everything that remotely resembles your opinion. That's what an agenda is. So it is what it is, man. It's people. It's not just United fans or football fans, and it's people. People do that. Um, I do think that the Mainoo drama that we've gotten since the beginning of the season, I do think that and then the ongoing Mainoo drama, I do think that has been a big catalyst for this whole youth thing kind of snowballing a little
Oh
bit.
yeah.
I don't think that Amorim's comments recently about Amos, Cheeto, and Collier helped the situation at all. Dude, my hand still hurts from when I smacked the table, by the way. You remember that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, it hurts so bad.
Hopefully you didn't break anything.
I
You
don't
just show
like
up to the airport with a sling on.
I don't know, like there's a little bit of purple like here. Like it's not does not feel great. I smacked that
Man,
table hard.
it
um,
echoed, guys. It echoed really loud.
um, yeah, it hurt a lot. Thankfully, it wasn't my other hand. I might have like hurt myself with my ring, but so yeah, Amorim's comments didn't help. But I think like, what about all the other youth players like before Amorim that have come and gone? Because it's not like every single United manager is just throwing youth on. Literally, Jose just McTominay, and McTominay was literally already in his mid-20s by that point. Almost, he was like 23, 24. Not exactly a youth player, but that was like the only one for Jose. Um, we've got and all these other young players that have come and gone they're gone now. Guys like Chong and Tyler Blackett, Anthony Elanga,
Yep.
James Wilson. You guys remember James Wilson came on in his debut, scored a brace when Ryan Giggs was caretaker
Yeah.
manager. Paddy McNair, Joel
Yep.
Pereira, the keeper, Ted and Mengi, Laird,
Yep.
even Lingard, like et cetera, et cetera. All these youth players come and gone, and nobody's batting an eyelash now. But all of a sudden, like the Kobbie stuff comes out, and it's like everyone's freaked out. I mean, were people this outraged when those players weren't good enough? I mean, Dean Henderson's another one. Yeah, Dean Henderson. That was. I honestly think if he hadn't got
Yep.
COVID box, that he would be our keeper right now because all he was pushing
He
for
would
that.
be.
So, and again, where does Kobbie's role in all this? I mean, at what point do young players need to accept that, hey, you're not the finished article. You still have a lot to learn. You still make mistakes. You're not that guy yet. And if you're not being selected, maybe you're not there yet. Maybe at what point does the young players need to just accept that? I mean,
Mhm.
what do you think Kobbie needs to work on for you as a player in terms of the way he plays? Not his attitude, but maybe just what you see from him on the pitch or what you'd like to see from him on the pitch. Where do you think he needs to work?
Defensively, and not necessarily like trying to tackle, but just getting in the right spots. Like he does offensively, he can get into the link up play. It's the defensive noose of knowing where to go to intercept the passing lanes. Because I mean, that would take him to the next level. Like if he could start intercepting passing lanes and then getting attacks started, oh man, because he's got the ability to see that.
Yeah.
He's got the ability to make passes and link play. Like that would just immediately take his game to the next level. So that would be the big thing for me. So maybe give Mike Eric a call. He's available and maybe learn a few things.
Yeah, I would bring Carrick back to help out. Honest to God, I really would. I think
Hell
that
yeah.
he could do a lot of good for us. Good to get himself back into the coaching atmosphere a little bit.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think physicality and just maybe some passing range is about all I really need to see from Kobbie. Physicality will come as he gets older. The passing range, that might never be
Yep.
what he's known for. He might never be a Bruno like that. And they don't need him to be, but a little bit more vertical line breaking balls, a little bit more of that risk. He's really, really good at the ball. I don't want to lose any bit about of who he is in terms of his dribbling, his press resistance, his movement in space and whatnot. Like I don't want that gone at all. And so I'd like to see him keep that. I just and it's not that I'm like get there and we'll start you. It's just me thinking that would make him a better midfielder personally. If you could just add a
Oh
little
yeah.
more of that. Like if you're like a 3 out of 10 in physicality and like a 5 out of 10 in passing, just get to like a 6 or 7 out of 10 in passing, get to like a 5 out of 10 physicality, and I think you'd be just a perfect midfielder personally. Yeah, Box is throwing him out. Short T-Ray Gomez. Don't start on Alvaro. Come on, what are you doing? You're gonna make me cry. Season 4 premiere of What If was all about Alvaro, so go watch that one if you guys haven't yet. Where are we at on the likes right now? Because if like someone let me know where you're on the likes because I got 1,000 screens open at the moment. So if we're
We are at uh, 16.
16, all right. If we get to 20, I'll give away 5 memberships. How's that sound? I'll do it live here on the channel. I think I've got 5 more for the month of December. YouTube only lets me give away 10 total every month. So I think I did one the other day. I'll give away 5 more if we get to 20. So someone keep an eye on it. Um, so thank you, Rob. So I agree with Scholes when he says Amorim is not he's risk averse. Amorim doesn't take enough risks. I think he doesn't
Hmm.
want to roll the dice. I get the reasons for maybe why in terms of just the pressure where we are right now. We can't afford to take our foot off the gas. Qualifying for Europe is a must, and I don't think a lot of the youngsters are quite ready. But I do think that there are chances for us to see some more of the youth, and like we said, Everton, Wolves, for instance. I personally, I don't know how you feel. I personally don't think. I mean, Amram doesn't even really trust his bench. I don't know how much he's going to rely on a bunch of teenagers. Personally,
Yeah.
um, I don't get that at all. But I think that where Scholes started talking about like he like his aversion to three at the like Scholes cannot stay in three at the back. I don't know like I just don't get it. Like again, it's one of those things where I feel like some people just don't understand it a little bit more. I don't think three at the back is our issue. I really don't. I don't think three at the back is really Amorim's
It,
biggest
it,
problem. I think it's his team selection and some of his decisions have been the biggest problem.
with Skolzy, it feels a little bit like old man yells at cloud. So
Yeah, exactly. And
this,
and like I said, like I showed you all those little headlines. Like Scholes has been like this for every manager that we've had since Ferguson retired. I do think honestly he's just like a little bitter about that. I don't know, but yeah, it's weird, man. So I agree with some aspects. I don't agree with. I mean, just I mean, Scholes has admitted in the past he's literally said he doesn't really analyze football. So he's clearly just speaking either from nostalgia or emotion at this point. Honestly, like that's all I can think of. Maybe he's just too negative. Maybe he's just a negative person. I don't know. Like you said, things have to change, right? Are United supposed to be just a carbon copy of the way they were in Scholes' heyday in the '90s? Like we can't really do that, right? You can't expect that. So my question
no,
for
we
you
can't do
then,
that. Things
and you
have to
guys,
change.
go ahead.
No, I was just saying things have to change, just like with everything. So
So my question for you then, and maybe just in general for everybody, how do clubs like United, big clubs that were there's a lot of history there, there's a lot of foundation, there's a lot of unique identity associated with us. How do big clubs like United in that regard, how do we move into the modern era? How do we modernize and stay current and relevant while also preserving what made us great, while also paying respect and clinging to that history and that tradition and those foundations? Can the details change while the foundations remain the same? What does that look like? That I mean, and can identity be preserved at the forefront when you're trying to steady a sinking ship? Go. A lot of questions there.
I think change is more so about some parts of how your approach to the game can go to it, like tactical change, tactical revolutions happen all the time. How you set up your game that changes, how attackers work, the intricacies of everything else. But the mindset of how the team is going to work is really more of how you keep that part of the tradition going. Because I mean, this club is all about we never give up, you never say die, and it seems like too often we've lost that part of our identity.
Mm.
Like because they switch off, they put their heads down. We talked about that many times when things go against them, and it just seems a little bit like that's starting to turn back to how it used to be. Because I remember watching years ago. Okay, they'd go down a goal. I'm like, well, they're going to get one. You know, they're going to get one. They're going to attack. They're going to go into every tackle. They're going to show up the defense or whatever it is, and they're gonna. If they don't get it, they're going to make sure they tried their hardest. And we haven't had that. And I think that's the best way to have that tradition is like you can change the tactics, you can do all that stuff, but you really emphasize the fight. You really emphasize like this club doesn't give up, and I think we've lost that, but I think it's coming back a little bit. At least that's kind of the feeling I've been getting.
Yeah, and I think I see it in some ways. I don't think it. Again, I kind of think it's like the rebuild. It's not going to happen overnight. Um, it's going to come in
Yeah.
phases as you move some players on, as you do this, as you maybe as a manager, as a club, as an owner, have a little bit of self-reflection throughout the process and ask yourself what's working, what's not working. Maybe there needs to be a bit of humility there, a bit of just honesty there,
Mm-hmm.
from Amorim as well. Um, Maybe the fans play a role. Maybe we need to understand that not every player that comes to the academy is going to make it, even if they have a stellar debut, even if they're a standout in the academy. Like
Yep.
Cheeto was just running the under 21s, but it's a huge step up to first team football. Like, and you can tell that some players just aren't ready. But again, maybe you won't know until you give them a shot. But again, that's where the risk comes in. You have to roll the dice sometimes. Be willing to do that. I think Amorim. I think we could have that Everton match probably still could have gone the same exact way. But maybe if he had brought on Kobbie, brought on Lacey, fans probably wouldn't have been as upset about it. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
Um, it is interesting though that so many fans, every time we're linked to a midfielder, everyone's listing like three or four midfielders they want to buy, and not one of them is like promote Kobbie, promote Kobbie, promote Kobbie. Very
Yeah.
interesting to see some of that. I got people wanting like 17-year-olds from the French league, but I'm like, you guys don't want Kobbie? I mean, I'm not saying either way. It's just interesting. So it is what it is, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think at the end of the day, it's just one of those things. There's too much. There's too many factors. There's too much nuance again for the whole Scholes, Amorim, Kobbie, even the Bruno stuff. There's so much that we don't know. There's a lot of factors in there. It's not a simple case of either or, right or wrong, good or bad, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that anybody has held themselves in a good light right now with the way that they've been speaking and some of the way that they've been behaving. Personally, I think everybody needs, including Amorim, needs to hold their hands up and saying, "Yep, I could have done better here." That goes to Bruno too. I'm not happy with Bruno, but it's just, I don't know. It's just, again, like I said, we can never just have a nice quiet day as a United fans, and these last couple weeks have just been just felt like drama. And I think for me personally, the Bruno interview kind of put me in a little bit more of a negative light because I'm like, this was the guy that I'm like, he's the captain, he's the guy who's doing his job. But to hear him come out and say like he's been kind of just feeling it just with his own stuff with the
Yeah.
club, like I'm like, ah shit. Is there anything positive right now? uh where are you at right now with your feelings at the club and whatnot?
The drama this week has tempered some of that, just like with everything going on, and the draw didn't help either. That was super frustrating. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels like there's movement forward towards better things, but it's really hard to see sometimes. Just with, I mean, this is just who United is.
Yeah. It is who we are right now anyway. Hopefully we can
Mm-hmm.
start to see some changes. Again, wins cover a multitude of sins, but you got to get the wins, which
Exactly.
starts with the performances, which starts with the team selection one. Did we get to 20 likes, guys? I don't know. I haven't looked in a while. We got to 20. I'll throw 5 memberships out there, but If you haven't
We
liked,
got
please do
to
so.
17.
We're close. 3 more. I'll give you guys a couple more minutes because we are going to wrap it up because we did go pretty long tonight. Um, kind of thing. There's not much else really to discuss anyway. I saw for Romano claimed that United and City have contacted Bournemouth to learn a little bit more about
Yeah.
the release clause for Semenyo. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Hmm.
That would be a big statement, right? To go for Semenyo in January window. Do you think he's a player like you watched him on Monday? Did he pass your test? Do you feel like he's a player that we need right now, or do you think there's other priorities?
Uh, yeah, we need it. We have other priorities, especially in the central midfield. But
Yeah,
if they're going to go for him, it's not like it'd be a bad pickup. It's just he wants to start. We talked about that, and it, I, I don't see. I mean, maybe like you can go put him up there with Mbumo and Cunha, but then you're benching Mount and Chesko. Like I don't know.
I mean he would be probably playing in a wingback role, I imagine.
I guess, but I don't know.
He'd be put on the left.
It's
That's the only way you can. The only place we can put him is put him on the left ahead of
yeah,
Dorgu. But then what about Dallo? What if like I
yeah.
don't get it. Um,
It doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, again, I thought he did really well. I just don't think
Hmm.
he's a priority. I think that I wouldn't want to spend 65 million on someone
No.
who is going to be maybe a rotation option or whatnot. I don't want to see Ahmad benched personally. I think that I like Ahmad more.
Yep.
Like I said, there's center midfield. There's no excuse not to bring in a center midfielder. You sent me that Ruben Neves report in the WhatsApp group. Again, starting 11 and Legends member, there is a WhatsApp group. The link is in the community posts. Um, who that came from? Graham Bailey was that came from that?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, you like Ruben? I like Ruben Neves.
Yeah.
He's a good
I
player.
wanted him when he was at Wolves, and I was
Yeah,
really upset he went to the Saudi league. I'm like, God
yeah,
damn
that
it.
was fucking
Uh,
stupid.
yeah. But
But
he
yeah,
made bank though, so good on him.
we need a midfielder. I mean, Ugarte can't get a sniff. Kobbie's
No.
role and his future at the club are up in the air right now.
Mhm.
I think if Kobbie doesn't start against Villa with Casemiro suspended, I think he's as good as gone personally.
Mhm.
But um,
Hey, let's do a swap deal with Forrest for him, and we'll take Anderson.
yeah, go for it. You get Southern Ugarte. I mean, shit, I'll take
Yeah,
James
we'll
Garner
give
at
you
this
two
point.
players.
Fuck.
Yeah.
So, all right, you guys. It was a good conversation. It was
Mhm.
good to hear everyone's thoughts on everything. I know we've got different opinions. There's literally nothing wrong with having a different opinion to me or Dylan or to anybody else in the chat. All I ask are two things: be respectful and just back up your opinion. I'm not saying you have to prove it. I'm just saying I want to know why you feel the way you do. You don't have to write a thesis about it or cite sources. Just if you're Amorim out, okay, that's your opinion. But tell me why. What has he done right? What has he done wrong? That's all I ask. And be respectful, please. So
Mhm.
I appreciate everyone's thoughts tonight. Good to see some new faces in the chat. Hopefully, the new faces enjoyed the conversation, enjoyed the experience, and hit that subscribe button. Like I said,
We,
we are on the road to 3K. What are you saying, Dill?
I was gonna say we need two more. We're at 18.
Oh man, we almost got to 20. I would have gifted 5 memberships. All right, that's okay. But yeah, please do like the video, guys. Please subscribe. Check out the memberships. It is the best way to get involved in the content we put out on the channel. Starting 11 and Legends members get a say in what if episodes. They get a say in scouting report players. You get to make suggestions for that. You get obviously the WhatsApp group. Legends members can join in the Kickabout virtually and join in on the discussion on weekly nights. So remember, this is the last one until Dylan and I are gone. So we'll be not doing a traditional Kickabout, but we will be catching up with you guys while we're on our trip. But it doesn't mean there's not going to be any content. Remember that we will be doing Elizabeth. I appreciate that
Hey.
so much. I appreciate that. Really, it's your guys' channel. I just throw the topics out there, but thank you so much. That makes me feel like it's all worth it. Um, but yeah, I'll have a preview for the Villa match. Obviously, we'll be reacting to that one. I've got a scouting report special for you guys, another episode of What If as well. So keep a lookout for all of that. Always check the community tab because I post a lot of stuff there as well. And go check out is the suitcase pack? Not yet, Jarvis. I still wear some of my clothes that I got to pack. Honestly, I tell Dylan this every time I go. The longest part it takes is picking out which jerseys I'm going to bring because you got to represent. So it's always
Hmm.
difficult, but maybe I'll just bring some some swag from the United versus Everybody store. If you look below the
There you
video
go.
player, we do have an online shop that for all one of a kind gear that supports the channel. None of it goes to the club. It's all pretty cheap in terms of it doesn't cost a lot of money. But as Dylan's got a bunch of it, I've got a bunch of it. It's pretty sweet. There's always new designs. Go check that out as well if you guys ever want to get some one of a kind gear that doesn't go to the Glazers' pockets. Jarvis, if Dylan and I decided to go to the Liverpool match instead of the Burnley match, then yes, I would have worn full kit. But that's also why I'm not going to the Liverpool match, because I don't want to get stabbed 100 times like I'm Julius fucking Caesar. So we will have fun. Jarvis, we're gonna try to link up with Stu while we're there too, and see if Stu wants to meet up for a drink or something while we're there. So anybody is in the Manchester United area and not a psycho with a knife, find me on Twitter or post on the page, and maybe we can meet up, man. Half and half scarves. No, thank you. We don't do half and half scarves. Um, there are a ton of people that sell those outside of the stadium every day. We don't do that. That's a no-no here. Friends don't let their friends buy half and half scarves. Remember that, you guys. That might be the next design for a T-shirt, by the way. So, in any case,
That's a good idea.
I might go make that immediately when I'm done here. So take it easy, guys. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for sticking around. Again, please like, subscribe, and we will see you guys later on this week. All right, Dylan, say goodbye to the friendly people.
Have a good night, everybody.
This is the last time we're going to see Dylan in the Kickabout until Dylan we're over there. So say goodbye. Make sure you subscribe to wish us the best of luck, and we'll see you guys soon. Talk to you later.
Have a good one.